he and Ehud Barak were pioneers in a way in the cyber surveillance industry. Like he and Barak opened doors for Israeli companies around the world to grow what has become a truly like global panopticon of surveillance around the world. A lot of these Israeli companies have since been bought up by multinational companies, and so they're embedded in all of the big tech infrastructure. The point is, Jeffrey Epstein knows a lot about operational security when it comes to communications. He also knew that he was either getting sued at any point or could be getting sued at any point over all manner. Look, he's got the victims coming after him, since his conviction, and he's also got very shady gray area business dealings that he's doing constantly. And so he knows that his emails are routinely subject to subpoena, let alone observable by all the different foreign intelligence agencies that have an interest in him. So what you get in his email is only what he is kind of roughly okay with
wants you to see.
People seeing.
Yeah, so he wanted this to come out about Bill Gates.
And when you also see oftentimes, hey, this is not for email, as Emily pointed out earlier. Like you'll find that a decent amount of times in the call, so in the emails, we need to talk about this in person, he'll say. And so if he's ever going to do any blackmailing, like it would be very difficult for you to believe that you would find it in these jeevacation@gmail.com or anywhere else.
Well, what was he doing with Ehud Barak? I mean, do you believe he was an Israeli intelligence asset or an American intelligence asset or somebody's intelligence asset?
He was clearly a very, very, very valuable asset to Ehud Barak, and Ehud Barak was working directly with the Israeli intelligence community in growing the Israeli cyber weapons industry around the world. And so
let me just interrupt you and ask you, because I had a debate about this with Ben Shapiro over the summer at the Charlie Kirk event. Charlie asked me, do you think he was intel, Jeffrey Epstein? And I said, it certainly looks that way. And he said, for whom? And I said, you'd have to guess Israel as one of the possibilities, given his relationship with Ehud Barak. Then Ben Shapiro came on my show, and then I was called an anti-Semite, and so was Charlie, just for literally just that. And then Ben Shapiro came on my show and said he wasn't. Ehud Barak has denied it. And I remember I was like, oh, well, okay. I mean, that doesn't really give us a final answer. And then that's why the Bibi Netanyahu piece putting out there, not that he was an intelligence asset for Israel, but saying he clearly was working with Ehud Barak on intelligence matters, and also saying it's fine to ask the question, which doesn't make you an anti-Semite, which I thought was very interesting for obvious reasons. But what you're saying now is that there's no question he was working on intel matters with Ehud Barak.
That is utterly indisputable, and people can go to Dropsite and look at our section called Epstein in Israel and go read a bunch of the different stories. Like, for instance,
which I have been.
Yeah, so you've seen it. So he sold cyber weapons infrastructure with Ehud Barak to Mongolia, and then helped cut a state deal between Israel and Mongolia. So often these cyber weapons deals then are followed by something dangled by the state of Israel itself. The same thing happened in Ivory Coast. Just on Tuesday, we put a story out.
Wait, dumb that down for me.
So basically, Ehud Barak would work with his Israeli intelligence community and a private company, oftentimes say Paragon, which is one where he's top official at, which is one of the biggest kind of cyber surveillance companies in the world.
It would sort of be like Palantir or Lockheed Martin. Ryan was just explaining this to me this morning.
Yeah, rival of one of those.
Okay.
So then he would go to Mongolia and say, look, see, you're having or Ivory Coast, so you're having a lot of trouble here. Like, I see protests in the streets, you got a lot of dissent. Like, we have a level of surveillance technology that is far and above, what our competitors can offer. And their selling point is always, it's tested on Palestinians. Like, you've seen our system of occupation in the West Bank and in Gaza. Is that not quite impressive, the way that we were able to lock that down? We have developed extraordinary technology as a result of that. And so then you meet with the Mongolian president. They actually met literally in Davos. and then also traveled to Mongolia. And then within months of that, then Israel strikes up a security partnership with the state of Mongolia. So it's not just a intelligence community to intelligence company to Mongolia relationship. It's then state to state, Israel to Mongolia, and so they did this with
all facilitated by Epstein and Ehud Barak.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and Ryan,
exactly.
Okay, I get it.
Ryan, you should mention what you just scooped, this big story about the apartment.
Right. This is a very interesting one that we just published over at DropSite. So at least in 2016 and 2017, but probably much beyond that, the Israeli permanent mission at the UN was responsible for security at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment. That's according.
What?
Yes, so that's according to emails that we found in the files. So
I have been reliably told that you are an anti-Semite if you look at all into Jeffrey Epstein's connections to Ehud Barak or Israel, Ryan. So you just tread carefully.
So what's probably going on here? So this is related to Ehud Barak staying for such long extended periods of time in his apartment, which undercuts Ehud Barak's previous argument that I barely know the guy, I have no relationship with him. He was staying so much in the apartment that the Israelis literally took over security for the apartment. So the maids and any guests that went in and out of the apartment had to go through background checks and had to be confirmed and coordinated with the Israeli consulate at the UN. And at one point,
all the time, or just when Ehud Barak was there?
It seems like all the time, because there's the handler, this guy named Rafi, who's in the emails. He turns over and you see Barak's wife. He's like, all of a sudden she's getting texted by another Israeli official, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I have the file now. Let me know who's going in and who's going out. We're gonna and Epstein approves like drilling of holes to put in the security equipment. Mm-hmm. It can be controlled remotely. So that's at least 2016, 2017. And so that's a level of coordination and connection between the Israeli government and Barak and Epstein that undercuts a lot of what has been said in the past. Netanyahu also said, I think it was even this week, he said, his friendship with and his relationship with Barak shows that actually he had nothing to do with Israel, because Ehud Barak is, pals around with far left, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, radicals. It's like, well, how many anti-Zionist radicals is the Israeli government kind of providing security for when they're staying at Epstein's apartment? So it kind of undercuts that as well. And he served as Netanyahu's Minister of Defense in 2013 as well. They were political rivals.
But now
sure.
they don't like each other. But now those two don't like each other at all. But which is why Bibi got all sorts of heat after he tweeted out that article saying that Epstein clearly was working for Ehud Barak and that it's totally fine to ask whether he was Israeli intelligence. And now he's kind of like being like, well, he wasn't working for the Israelis because he was working for Ehud Barak. It was like, okay, whatever. These two don't like each other, but the bottom line is you can ask whatever the fuck you want. I'm sorry. I'm sick of people trying to word police everybody. It's like, you can ask these questions. These are fine questions for any reporter to ask when trying to figure out who and what Jeffrey Epstein was. And eventually we'll know the truth. We're starting to know the truth right now. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it is a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.